that? Basically, another tropical system. Good Monday afternoon, everyone. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins, and I kind of feel like they're just checking names off the list to get to their forecast numbers at this point. But, technically speaking, these are tropical systems, and we have another one. So let's start right there today with our Weather Impact Live show. And we'll go out to Tropical Storm Lorenzo, 50-mile-per-hour winds. It's way out there. If you want to take it there, thank you very much. Northwest is the movement right now at 16 miles per hour. The pressure is 1,002 millibars, and it is 1,100 miles west of the Cabo Verde Islands. So this thing is coming off of Africa, as you can see. It's way out there in the middle of the Atlantic. So it's not going to be affecting us. In fact, if you look at this now, that's the visible satellite, and you can see where the center is here, but all the convection's over here. In fact, if you look at it for the infrared, you can see where all of that convection is, mainly off towards the east. And so that's implying a bunch of wind shear coming in from the west here. But nonetheless, it does look like it's going to continue to move off towards the west-northwest, and then later tomorrow turn more to the north. And then look at this, by Wednesday, it's moving north-northeast. Thursday, it's going northeast, and then eventually it's out, well far east of Bermuda, right? It's not even going to be a threat at all. But what does it get to? Does it get to be another hurricane? Right now, that does not look likely, okay? It looks like we're going to be getting winds to about 70 miles per hour and kind of keeping it at that. But we'll see. Either way, it's not going to affect anybody. That's the good news about this one. We don't have to worry about this. Forecast models show it kind of looping around in the eastern Atlantic there. And I think for the most part, that's good news. Kind of keep it off of those islands there and off of the North African coast. However, this time of year, it's really, really tough to get something that forms that far out in the eastern Atlantic to get all the way back to the United States. And one of the reasons is these big troughs. And you see this right here? Got a dip of the trough, goes like this, and back up. So anything like that, which is our system, even if it got over here, it would run into this and come back up and out. Okay, so in the summertime, we don't have this, right? We have hot air. We have something that goes more like this, okay? Big high pressure sitting over top, and maybe we get like a little southeast wind on the backside of that high. The wind's going like this, okay? But that's not the case now. We do have that big trough. That's why it feels beautiful outside. But that will also help to protect us, at least from tropical systems coming that far. This time of the year, guess where we look? I mean, it makes sense. We look here in the Western Caribbean and in the Gulf. Because if you do get something, say, here in the Western Caribbean, where's it going to go? I mean, it forms right here. It's going to go up and out, right? And that's what we expect this time of year. Sometimes they can come up and get into the Gulf and then maybe come up and out. Obviously, we know what that looks like, a la Helene. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case right now. So we're looking pretty good as far as development goes here. So the number of names here, each column here, 7 names. So we got, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 named storms so far. If you count Karen, yeah, that happened over the weekend. Did you catch that? Way out in the northeast Atlantic. Lasted for about 24 hours or so. But that was subtropical Karen. It was a kind of a mix of it. And it was over cooler water, so they just basically taken another name off the list right there. But no development expected the next 7 days right now, so we're looking pretty quiet. There's a live shot outside. We do have a light north to northwest breeze out there at the beach. You can see it pushing up some of the waves, not a lot. But certainly a cooler and drier weekend, and it just continues into this work week. 81 degrees right now, 57-degree dew point. Wow, that feels fantastic. That really makes it feel nice out there. Now look, think of the desert, right? Dry air can heat up quicker than moist air. The humidity in the atmosphere, if you have a lot of it, it actually evaporates when the atmosphere starts to warm up. And that evaporation takes some of the heat out of the atmosphere to occur, so it leaves slightly cooler air. So it's harder for real moist air to get really hot. But dry air, like in the desert, gets hot in the day and cold at night. And that's kind of where we are. I mean, obviously not hot and cold here, but mid to upper 80s, right? We're going to make about 87 today for a daytime high, and then tonight we'll be down into the mid 60s. So that's why you're getting that good spread. It feels nice and cool in the morning, even in the evenings. But then mid to late morning, that sunshine shining bright with the blue skies, you start to feel it. If you're out in the sunshine, it does feel a little bit on the warmer side. Most areas right now in the 80s. We do have 79 in Newport Richey and Clearwater, 77 in Port Manatee. So good looking day out there. Look at this satellite radar. I was coming across the Bayside Bridge yesterday, and literally there was one cloud So if we went sunny, it would have messed up a sunny forecast. It would have had to go mostly sunny for this one little tiny cloud, and it basically fell apart within a minute. And that's just such dry air that we have in place. All right, so now rain, obviously no rain expected. There's a small chance we see a few extra clouds by the time we get towards Wednesday, and we'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about this. This is the satellite radar picture, obviously off the Carolinas, but this is that, well, I should say now one of the nor'easters, because we got two of them. And in fact, instead of a nor'easter forming here and then kind of moving up the coast like you would expect most of those to do, that's not what happened. This one formed and it stalled. And in fact, it's finally now starting to pull away, but it's been just thrashing the coast here. Not only with higher tides, right? You had king tides, plus you had the wind blowing on shore, but you also had quite a bit of rain that was causing flooding for inland locations. But on top of that, we had a second one form. Excuse me, look at this. Look at that low right there. There's another one there. So we have two lows that have formed, and that's got all kinds of rain up in the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast right now. And still some pretty good winds out there as well. Most of this is in Jersey. I mean, Jersey's got some winds in the 30s and 40s right there on the coast. Otherwise, it's not terrible, but even Long Island seeing some pretty good winds out there for today, and you can see how they're blowing on shore. In fact, I think we have some video. Let's go to this video. You know, the Outer Banks has been dealing with this really, really bad. This is, I can't tell where this is from, but this is part of that. Basically from Rehoboth up to Jersey, the North Jersey shore, I mean, even into New England. But that's it. I mean, obviously the high surf from the winds, right? But the tides were coming down from king tides, which means they were still running a little bit high. So you had storm surge flooding, literally is what you had. And then you had rainfall flooding as well. That's Virginia Beach area right there. So all up and down the coast. Conditions should get better for all those locations, but especially the Carolinas now. They are slowly getting better. Highway 12 in the Carolinas was completely washed out. They're pretty close to having it back open again. It looks like most of the tarmac was left there, so that's okay. They're putting the berm back up with sand. But I think the Northeast is going to deal with this a little bit more. So travel plans up there through tonight and tomorrow morning, I do expect some delays. Now, we sent a reporter out there. Let's go out and see what they saw.
Powerful and dangerous nor'easter is slamming Atlantic states today. It's a cyclonic storm with northeast winds that push water toward the coast.
The tidal flooding is the main concern.
Authorities report numerous water rescues in the Carolinas yesterday. Today, forecasters say mid-Atlantic and New England coastlines are in danger. The National Weather Service says flood risks in some areas will remain for days.
I wanted to see how high the water was, and it's higher than I expected already.
Delaware says it's activating its National Guard. Atlantic City, New Jersey could see the highest water levels since Hurricane Sandy. The area is more secure than it was during that infamous storm, thanks to millions of dollars of improvements.
Nowadays, it's everybody's preparing for the worst and kind of hoping for the best, which is, I guess, really the best way to prepare for it.
The nor'easter is causing numerous travel issues. FlightAware reports more than 7,000 flight delays yesterday. It says airports in New York and Boston were hardest hit. The nor'easter also is bringing powerful winds. Meteorologists say they topped 50 miles per hour yesterday in parts of Delaware, North Carolina, New Jersey, Maryland, and Virginia.
There are some big gusts coming through, so just the chance for some isolated power outages as well.
I'm Mimi Kiley reporting.
And a ton of erosion. I don't know if you've seen pictures coming out of even Myrtle Beach, Cherry Grove, North Myrtle Beach area. A ton of erosion going all the way up through Wrightsville and the Wilmington area, and of course along the Outer Banks. Now, if you look at the current winds along the Outer Banks, they're actually blowing north-northwest, which means they're kind of blowing offshore, and they've really come down. So that's the good news. And plus the low that's associated with that area is moving away. Now, I do think it does kind of what we would call a Fujiwara effect, where you get two lows that kind of rotate around each other. These will kind of merge. I think the one up across the mid-Atlantic states will be the dominant one, and that'll kind of eat up, if you will, the lower one that's off the Carolinas. And this is as we get into tomorrow morning, then you'll notice it just all kind of pulls away. This is responsible for us getting all of that dry air, the beautiful weather that we have. It's a bunch of dry air coming down. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, I'll let you know how long that nice weather will last here in Tampa Bay. Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, a retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30 right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Secure outdoor equipment and generators. Clear debris from around your AC unit and schedule a pre-storm HVAC and electrical inspection.
Those are some great tips, and Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40-TODAY.
All right, welcome back everyone. Let's talk about that dry air, that really nice weather that's coming down the coast. You can see the brown there. This is the precipitable water. So this is dry air, not only down here like lower humidity, but really it's from the ground all the way up. That brown that you see there is really lots of blue sky. Okay, that's where the atmosphere up above us is very dry as well. That's what that's showing you, and that means you'll see lots of sunshine, okay? So how long does that last? Now, watch as we put this into motion. You'll notice that flow coming down the East Coast. So we kind of get a reinforcing shot of it as we get into Tuesday and tomorrow night. You see it pushing even through the Keys, okay? It's gonna feel fantastic for there. Now, you see that little bit of green right here, this yellow in here? That's just a little bit of wave coming through, and that's Wednesday into Thursday. This is the first one on Wednesday. There's kind of one on Thursday. We may get a few extra clouds. It'd be really tough to get some rain out of that, even though I'm going to show you a model that says 1 or 2 sprinkles. The atmosphere is so dry right now, that would be kind of tough to do. Even if it tried to fall, it would evaporate for the most part. So we'll see. We could get a sprinkle, but I don't think we get much. Now, that's through Friday, Saturday. See the high pressure moving by? And then look what happens. The winds around this go clockwise. See those going like that? So when the high moves by, we now get a southeast wind. Guess what that is? That's what we have in the summertime. So you're going to see a lot of the meme that says where we are in seasons, and you get the false fall, and then you get to, second summer or whatever they call it, and then you get into a real fall. Well, this is kind of like second summer here. And so basically, but that's not going to last. It's like 1 or 2 days where we get a little bit more humid, and this will have a bit better chance for some rain. And look at this. Look how dry that air is. There's a high sitting right here. This is a legit cold front. Now, the one that we had to cool us down for this one was the low forming here, and it pulled some cooler and dry air down, right? That was not a cold front coming in from the north and the west like this. This is transitioning to that type of pattern where if it can get in here, and it may not all automatically happen, this, by the way, is Sunday, okay, into Monday and Tuesday, the front comes through. Looks like now that will happen. This will probably be some of the coolest air that we've seen so far, even what we just had for this weekend, okay? That's not until the beginning of next week, so it's about a week from now before that happens, okay? Now, let's talk about that very comfortable weather. Here are the dew points right now. Generally, in the lower 60s, there are some spots in the upper 50s. But guys, that is extremely comfortable, all right? Especially compared to what we're used to, right? From just the whole summer of heat and humidity. So we're going to stay in that very comfortable range, I think, through Friday and the Saturday. It will creep up just a little bit. But notice what happens. Remember, we showed you that front, that chance for rain coming by the end of next week into the weekend. This right here shows that Sunday into Monday, this upcoming weekend, we're going to warm back up. We're going to get those dew points and that humidity to come back up with the cold front coming through. Looks like maybe Monday night, Tuesday. That timing will change just a little bit, but that's the surge that you're seeing right there before it. And then behind it, we'll go right back down. In fact, I think the dew points probably be lower, most areas in the 50s for dew points, which will be even drier than what this area is. Okay, so, and that's typical. That's exactly what happens. We get a front that comes through. Ahead of that front, we get warm, we get kind of muggy. You're like, oh, it's back. And then you get the front come through with maybe a few showers. And then you get the cool, drier air and the humidity drops back off. That's just the pattern with those fronts coming through. Here's our forecast through this afternoon into tomorrow, and it's just quiet. There's nothing out there tonight. Tomorrow's very quiet all day, lots of sunshine. Don't forget the sunscreen, right? Especially under these conditions, because the UV is still pretty high. I mean, the sun angle is getting lower, but the UV is still pretty high. Now, this is Wednesday afternoon. That's right around 5, 6 o'clock. And you see what I'm saying about the model, trying to show a couple spots of green in here? I mean, in our neck of the woods, it's not much, right? Maybe a little bit up over on the East Coast because the wind's coming in off the water and it picks up a few showers right there by the beaches. But that, again, that's going to be tough. So I would just add a few clouds to our Wednesday more than anything else and keep us basically dry. Here's the forecast for tonight. Enjoy it. I mean, did you get out? I had a fire 2 nights this weekend in the backyard. That was nice. I mean, you know, just excited. It's not that cold. But tonight will be no different. We're talking clear skies. The winds have come down. They certainly came down by Sunday into Monday, or Saturday night into Sunday. And that's the same thing right now. They'll stay pretty light winds through the evening hours and overnight with clear skies and low to mid 60s for lows. Tomorrow, we'll wake up. There'll be some spots. Hernando, Citrus will be in the upper 50s tomorrow morning. It is going to feel nice. And we'll be in the mid 80s to some upper 80s for high temperatures for your Tuesday. But again, wall-to-wall sunshine, 1 or 2 clouds if we're lucky at all out there. Here's the European rainfall forecast. 0 zilch nada. Zip zilch nada. Wednesday, we'll have to watch. Again, I wouldn't even put 10% on there at this point. I just think it's too dry. Now, it does look like the temperatures want to come back up. And obviously, as we get back towards that frontal boundary coming, we will warm up a little bit. But notice Saturday and Sunday, it's not a big jump. Literally, we're talking a 2-degree temperature from Wednesday to Saturday. It looks a lot bigger on this particular map, but it's only 2 degrees. So it is warming up a little bit, and then here we go. We get that front to cool us back down, and we're kind of back into that air mass that we just had. Overnight lows, they will start to come back up, especially when you get a southeast wind and the humidity starts to come back, and it will a little bit. And so certainly by the weekend, you can see those overnight lows will be back up into the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Okay, 4:48, let's take a break. We'll see you right here when we come back.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case.
Who would want to hurt him?
Every clue.
This is dynamite for an investigator.
Every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. Unique quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
All right, welcome back. Let's jump to the other side of the United States. The West Coast has had some really active weather the last 24 to 48 hours or so. Take a look at the satellite radar. You can see. Okay, we'll go to the video here. So this is the video from Arizona, and that's where we have lots of flooding going on. So you can see they've had lots of rescues, water rescues, that type of thing. You know, they can't handle that much water because it's dry and it literally doesn't soak into the ground as much. There's the video, there's the satellite and radar of Arizona right now. You can see where the rain is, and New Mexico's getting it. Look at the bigger picture. I mean, look at California. Parts of California actually have like a 2% tornado risk, and that's just something that we don't normally see in California. And Seattle's seeing some. Look at the mountain snows that are up there in western Oregon and down into California as well. There's plenty of rainfall there in the San Francisco area, and especially points north up towards Napa. So yeah, they'll be dealing with that. I think this does start to taper off, at least for Arizona and New Mexico, tonight and tomorrow. It looks like they'll get another round of it. But this low over on the west coast, right on the coast there, is actually drifting southward, and that's going to continue to try and pull some moisture down into even Southern California as we get into tonight and tomorrow. All right, let's talk a little bit about our 7-day forecast. And you can see that we're basically going to get those temperatures to get back up a little bit on the warmer side as we get going into the weekend. But literally, it's not a lot than what we've just, I mean, today we topped out about 87 degrees. So you talk about 88, maybe 89 as we get towards Saturday and Sunday. But even then, I think we won't probably get that warm. Now, I don't have any 90-degree days in the forecast, okay? But we're close, obviously, as you can tell. And some spots may get there. But this is that time of the year. I mean, right now, the average high temperature is 86 degrees. So all of these numbers here are running just a little bit above average for this time of the year. But obviously, you get the idea how we're kind of bringing in the cooler and the drier air. So we haven't talked much about this, but the rainy season is basically over now for us. And that's why you don't see any rain chances that are the normal afternoon shower and thunderstorms on here. That one late Sunday into Monday is that frontal boundary coming through. But with the drier air, that really gets rid of those daily rain chances. So the rainy season around here, you need to get those upper 80s and low 90s for highs. You need to have high dew points. And that's what we just got rid of, okay? Dew points that are, say, in the 70s. That helps. But also, remember I showed you at the top of the show that brown air, the brown color on the map, that dry air from the ground all the way up? To me, that's really key. That has a number that comes with it, how much moisture is in that. When that number gets above 1.75 inches, then you have enough moisture in the atmosphere to get those afternoon showers and thunderstorms. And that number has plummeted because of that dry air coming down the coast. So typically we end